dive into the heart-pounding world of Sleeping with My Student, a tale where forbidden desires and dark secrets collide. Watch as Kathy, a newly appointed principal, navigates a tangled web of seduction, betrayal, and revenge. From passionate encounters to chilling encounters, every frame is filled with tension. Will Kathy untangle the web before it destroys her? Uncover the shocking twists in this riveting drama. Don't miss it. Watch it to the end to see how interesting the movie is. Oh man, let me tell you how this movie kicks off. It's intense right from the get-go. So, it starts in 2002, and there's this couple in a car, right? They've got their little baby in the back, and the scene is just chaos. The mom, June, is absolutely losing it, screaming her lungs out at her husband, Felix Johnson. And yeah, the baby is crying too. But these two are so caught up in their fight, they don't even notice. Turns out June just found out that Felix is socializing with someone she knows. Felix denies everything, saying it's not true, but June is not having any of it. Things escalate super quick. June, who's had some mental health struggles, completely snaps. She grabs the steering wheel, and before you know it, crash. The car smashes up, and Felix ends up dead, hitting his head, just like that, out of nowhere. Fast forward 17 years, and we switch scenes to a way lighter vibe. We've got these three friends, Kathy, Megan, and Stacy, who are chilling at this swanky hotel by the beach. Kathy's got something to celebrate. She's just been made principal of her school. They're all dolled up, sipping wine, having a blast. Kathy, by the way, is a single mom now, divorced, living with her teen daughter Bree. So, as they're partying, their room's AC conks out. Typical, right? They contact hotel customer service, and who enters but a young, good-looking guy named Ian. The ladies are all eyes on him. He's only 15, but looks more grown up, you know? Fixes the AC like it's nothing, and the ladies, they're kind of flirting with him. Later, Kathy decides to turn up the heat. She slips into this smoking hot dress and heads to the pool. That's when Ian spots her, and oh boy, he likes what he sees. He tries to chat her up, impress her, but Kathy's not really buying what he's selling. So Ian, this cheeky kid, jumps into the pool pretending to drown to get her attention. Kathy, who used to be a lifeguard, dives in to save him. Turns out he was just messing around. He tells her he likes chilling underwater to clear his mind. The next moment he says she's hot, and they head to her room together. Crazy, right? Alright, so after the pool incident, things get a bit heated between Ian and Kathy. Kathy's really hesitant at first, you know? She's like, I'm not into hooking up with young guys just like that. But Ian, man, that kid's smooth. He somehow talks her into it, and next thing, they're caught up in this wild and interesting point. They spend the night together, and when Kathy wakes up, Ian's nowhere to be found. Just leaves behind a flower for her. Classic move, right? Then, Kathy hooks back up with her friends, and they all leave the hotel. Here's where it gets twisty. Turns out, Ian doesn't actually work at the hotel. He was just filling in for a friend who's an intern there, just for that one night. And get this, he's got a picture of Kathy's daughter, Bree, and he's all like, this girl is very special to me. Super creepy, huh? Cut to Ian heading home. We see he's living with his mom and his stepdad, and things at home are pretty tense. He and his stepdad do not get along at all, especially since the stepdad's involved in some shady drug business. His mom's often sick, and Ian's really devoted, taking care of her because she means the world to him. Meanwhile, Kathy's gearing up for a big day. It's her first day as the principal of her school, and she's getting her daughter Bree ready too. Bree's pretty shy, a real introvert, and in past schools, she had a hard time with students, which really messed with her confidence. So, they head to school, and guess who Kathy spots? Ian. Yeah, at her school. She's totally shocked and tries to approach him, but he vanishes into the crowd before she can get to him. Kathy starts doubting herself, thinking maybe it was another kid who just looked like him. She heads off to her office, and Bree goes to her class. And here's another shocker. It's Ian's first day at this school too. He ends up sitting right next to Bree, and they introduce themselves. Talk about a small world, right? So, after class, Bree heads over to the art gallery to check out some paintings, right? That's when she bumps into these three students, Leslie, Gina, and Steve. Steve is with Leslie, and he and Gina start chatting with Bree. They're being super nice because they know she's the principal's daughter, and they're aiming to be cheerleaders. They're like, hey, can we hang at a pizza party? Bree's a bit nervous, stammers through her response, saying she'll ask her mom. Later, Kathy joins them, and those kids ask if they can take Bree out for pizza. Kathy says yes, so off they go, munching on pizza. And guess what? They start talking about Ian. Gina spills the beans that she and Ian used to date after meeting at a party, but broke up ages ago. Then, Ian shows up and starts being super nice to Bree, which weirds her out because she's not used to attention from guys like that. She's like, "Why are you so nice to me?" Since no one ever really is, the drama doesn't stop there. The next day, Ian and Bree arrive at class together, and Kathy's there too, chatting with Gina. When Kathy spots Ian, she nearly has a heart attack. She's hooked up with a student from her own school. She jets off to her office to dig up dirt on Ian, and finds out from her assistant that this kid has a sketchy past. For example, serious a history at his former school. Kathy's freaking out now. She doesn't even know how to feel about Ian being around, so she contacts her friend Megan and asks her to come as soon as possible. As Kathy's about to leave, she spots Ian sitting with Bree and rushes her daughter out of there. In the car, she lays down the law, telling Bree she can't talk to Ian anymore because he's news. She explains all about Ian's troubling past, trying to make Bree see how strange he could be. But Bree? She's not having any of it. For the first time, someone's treating her with respect, and she's not ready to let that go, even if it's Ian. Dude, you won't believe the drama in this movie. So, after all the chaos at school, Kathy sends her daughter, Bree, out with her ex-husband, Ben, to get some air and figure things out. They head to a restaurant, right? But guess who's there too? Ian, that sneaky kid, has been following Bree and decides to join them. He casually starts a conversation with Bree while Ben's in the restroom. When Ben comes back and sees this random guy chatting up his daughter, he's like, "Who the heck are you?" Ian keeps it cool, introduces himself politely, and then just leaves. After the outing, Ben drops Bree back home and fills Kathy in on the Ian encounter. Kathy is seriously worried now. She tells Ben that Ian's news, and she's clueless about what he wants with Bree. That night, Kathy's mind is racing, and she devises this wild plan. She sneaks into the school, plants a massive dagger in Ian's locker. Talk about drastic measures, right? The next morning, she has the school announce a locker search. And boom, they find the dagger right in Ian's locker, just as planned. Here's where it gets intense. Ian gets called into Kathy's office, and he spills the beans. Turns out he's been stalking Bree through her social media because she posts everything online. He admits he was at the hotel that night by design and had gathered all his info on Kathy through Bree's posts. Now, hold on to your seat. Ian reveals he secretly filmed their encounter at the hotel, and now he's blackmailing Kathy for $50K, threatening to make the video public. He's like, "You're a respected woman. You wouldn't want this to get out." He even tries to sweeten the deal by saying he'll leave Bree out of it if Kathy pays up. Kathy, horrified but sharp, warns him about the legal dangers if the video goes viral, hinting that he could land in jail too. Man, the tension is just too real in this one. So, Kathy tries to reason with Ian, right? But this guy, he's not having any of it. He's dead set on his plan and tells her to rustle up the cash fast, or he's going to make life hell for her and her daughter. But Kathy, she's not one to be easily intimidated. She straight up refuses to pay him a dime. She tells him she doesn't trust him and believes he'll just keep coming back for more even if she pays up this time. So, she decides, no way, not giving him anything. She orders the school security to throw him out. Meanwhile, Gina, who's been sort of on the sidelines, decides to follow Ian to his place. And man, does it escalate quickly. Ian's there, getting into a major brawl with his stepdad. Just as he's about to really hurt him, Gina pops up. She's like, "Ian, I want to be with you. I really like you." But Ian flips out because she's messed up his plan. In a rage, he chases her out, smashes her car window with a baseball bat, and tells her to just get lost. He shouts that he doesn't care about anyone but his mom and his daughter. Gina's terrified, man. She barely gets out of there with her life. Back inside, Ian finds his stepdad trying to crawl away and just loses it. He beats him to death with the bat. It's brutal. He then tells his mom to stay put because he's coming back for her. Next thing, he's sneaking back into school to find Bree and drag her into his mess again. He's planning to use her to pressure Kathy even more. Kathy at this point is freaking out because she can't find Bree at school. Gina, still shaken, tells her Bree went off with Ian. Katie tries to contact Bree, but Ian answers, threatening to pay her or else. He even says he will hurt Bree if Katie goes to the police. Katie doesn't panic at all, so she contacts her friend Megan, and they start raising money together after Katie tells the whole story. It's just a complete nightmare scenario. Alright, so while Kathy's scrambling to get the money, we cut to Ian, who's driving off with Bree. Bree's totally freaked out, right? She's asking Ian where they're going and why he's acting all weird. Then, Ian drops this huge bombshell. He pulls out a gun, not to scare her, but to tell her that she's like his little sister and he's there to protect her. Super twisted, I know. Then he spills this wild backstory. Turns out, the little boy crying in the car at the start of the movie, that was Ian. And here's the kicker. His dad had an affair with Kathy, and that affair led to Bree being born. Ian believes that this affair is what drove his mom, June, over the edge that night, leading to the crash that killed his dad and sent his mom into a deep depression. He's convinced Kathy ruined both his and his mom's lives. So Ian's been plotting this whole revenge thing against Kathy, which even included him hooking up with her. He lays all this out to Bree, who's just shocked and scared. In a moment of sheer panic, Bree manages to kick Ian in the face and makes a run for it. Now, cut to the tensest part. Kathy and her friend Megan are racing to this drop-off point to meet Ian and Bree. Megan is behind the wheel and ready to go to the police if Katie doesn't show up in 10 minutes. It's all super intense. Everyone's on edge, waiting to see how this crazy situation is gonna unfold. All right, so here's the intense showdown, man. Kathy goes into the meeting spot, like full-on mama bear mode, and tells Ian to just chill out and let Bree go. Then, she starts spilling all the beans. She admits to the affair with Ian, to the truth about Bree's dad, basically all the secrets she's been keeping. Katie is throwing apologies right and left, trying to fix everything. But Bree, she's feeling totally betrayed by her mom. Just as the tension hits a peak, Ian snaps. He pulls out a gun and aims it at both Kathy and Bree. It's a complete nightmare scenario. But Kathy isn't having any of it. She lunges at Ian, and they both crash through a second-story window. It's a wild, heart-stopping moment. They hit the ground, and miraculously, Kathy survives. But Ian, he doesn't make it. Now, cut to the final scene of the movie. We see Kathy, Bree, and Ben. They've somehow patched things up and are living together, and everything seems to be going well for them. It's like they've found some peace after all that chaos. In contrast, Ian's mom is left all alone, dealing with the fallout and loneliness after everything that's happened. And that wraps up our deep dive into the gripping and tumultuous world of Sleeping with My Student. This movie takes us through a roller coaster of emotions, from betrayal and seduction to revenge and redemption. Katie's life changes dramatically when secrets from the past put her present and future at risk, forcing her to confront the consequences of her actions and those around her. If you enjoyed this recap and analysis, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more intriguing movie breakdowns. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Kathy could have handled her situation differently? What would you have done in her shoes? Drop your thoughts and perspectives in the comments below. Let's get a conversation started.